Good morning. Am I audible to all of you? Yes? Okay. So I have uploaded one exercise here. Again, this exercise has 15 questions. We will take up 5 questions at a time. And all these questions are from previous XAT papers. So you can start with exercise number 2. This is question number 1 to question number 5. Okay. Solve question number 1 to question number 5. And I think 15 minutes will be sufficient. 10 to 15 minutes will be sufficient. So solve it and let me know when you are done. The latest time is going to be 10:20. Please start. Okay, are we done? Should we check question 1 to question number 5? I think I gave you sufficient time. Okay, so let us see what he's saying. He starts by telling you in the first question that forms of influence which include power in their source are usually themselves forms of power. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is that if you have influence over somebody, then to the extent that you have influence over somebody, you have indirectly power. So he gives you an example of the king's mistress, and he tells you that even though directly the king's mistress, she does not have any power, she has only influence over the king. She does not have any power. But because of her influence, she may indirectly have power over his subjects in the degree of that influence. Did you understand this? So what he's trying to say is that even if you have influence, then in a sense you are indirectly to the extent that you have influence, you have power. But then he says that does not mean that all kinds of influence will make you powerful. Forms of influence based on power are themselves forms of power only if the scope of the influence is included within that of the power in question. This means that it is not necessary that if you have influence over somebody, then you will always and always indirectly have power. No, there can be situations where you have kind of influence, but still you do not have power. So then he gives you another example. He gives you the example of the king, and he tells you that the king may exercise influence over standards of morality because of his power position. But that does not mean that he necessarily exercises power over morality. So, what he is saying is that if you have influence, then indirectly you may have power to the extent of that influence. So, but that does not mean that if you have influence, then you necessarily have power. This is what he's trying to say. Anybody requires any clarification? Is this clear? Yes? Okay. Now, based on this question number 1, which combination of following statements best summarizes the idea expressed in the paragraph? Let's look at the 4 statements. Number 1, strength of an influence determines its power. Yes or no? Yes. Number 1 is a yes. Okay. Number 2, influence always contributes power to the wielder of influence beyond the scope of the influence. No, no. Even if you have power because of your influence, it is going to be within the scope of your influence. Okay. So number 2 is wrong. Number 3, proximity to authority is itself a source of power. Yes or no? No, 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 no. Mere proximity cannot be source of power. You have to have influence. For example, let us say there is a king, okay? So there will be so many people who will have proximity to the king. For example, his bodyguards. Just because they have proximity to authority, does that mean that they necessarily have power? No. They will have power only and only if they have influence over that person who is powerful. And they will have power to the extent that they can influence the person who is powerful. So mere proximity to authority cannot become a source of power. Number three is not right. Did you understand? For example, let us take the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, okay? He has bodyguards. So bodyguards, they have proximity to him, but that does not mean that the bodyguards are powerful. That does not mean that Narendra Modi will listen to, the policy suggestions made by the bodyguards. But but his cabinet ministers can have influence on him. They can have influence in the sense that they can make some suggestions and Narendra Modi can adopt some suggestions. So even if directly they don't have power, but indirectly because they can influence the prime minister, they have power. So mere proximity is not itself a source of power. Number three is wrong. So till now only one is right. Let us look at number four. Forms of influence are power only if they can influence behavior. Yes or no? Yes. That is a big yes. 1 and 4. So, what is going to be our answer? Was statement number 1 and 4, which brings us to option number C. Yes. Did you understand? Anybody has any issue? There is one more question based on this passage, and that question is something like this. Again, which of the following is similar to ideas expressed in the paragraph? If you look at the paragraph, you can divide it into two parts. In one, he tells you that if you have influence, then indirectly you have power. But that does not mean that but that does not mean that every kind of influence will automatically lead to power. So he gives you the example of the king, and he tells you that see, the king he may have influence over standards of morality, but that does not necessarily mean that he can exercise power over morality. Okay, even though if you have influence, then in a sense you have indirect power, but that does not mean that that is always true. So tell me, based on this, what do you think should be the answer? What have you marked? Number three, yes, it should be number three. Absolutely, number three. A king can indicate the appropriateness of the dramas enacted. He can indicate, that means he can have influence over standards. He can have influence over the standards. What is appropriate and what is not appropriate is actually standard of morality. Okay, what is right, what is wrong, what is evil, what is good. These are all standards of morality. So the king can indicate standards of morality. He can say whether the drama is appropriate or inappropriate because he can exercise influence over standards of morality. But that does not mean that he can decide either directly or indirectly who are the people who will perform in this drama, who are the people, how much money they will get for the performance. So he can have influence over standards of morality. That means he can indicate whether something is appropriate or not appropriate. But then he cannot necessarily make everybody behave in an appropriate or inappropriate way. That is why answer is number three. It cannot be A and B. Okay? He cannot influence what dramas are enacted. Whatever dramas are enacted, he can say whether those dramas are good or bad. That means he has influence over standards of morality. So he can categorize them as good and bad. But then he cannot influence what dramas are enacted or who acts in the drama in his kingdom. So that is why number three is the correct answer. Please check and let me know if you have any doubt. Is this clear? Question number one and question number two. Everything is clear? Okay. Then let's come to question number three. Question number three. As man casts off worn out garments and puts on others which are new, similarly, the embodied soul, casting off worn out bodies, enters into others which are new. Of the following, which one best typifies the argument? So, what kind of an argument is this? Tell me. What kind of an argument is this? Yes, because see, he is making a comparison. As X, similarly Y. As X, similarly Y. So, as what is X? As man casts off worn out garments and put on others which are new, similarly Y. Y is the embodied soul, casting off worn out bodies, enters into others which are new. So, he is making a comparison, that means it is an analogy. This is an argument from analogy, because analogy is when you make a comparison, you show what is the similarity, right? But let us look at other options also. Is this a causal argument? I know many people read this as casual, but this word is not casual, it's causal. Is this a causal argument? What is a causal argument? Causal argument is when you talk about the cause and effect of something. Because of X, Y happened. So there is a cause and there is an effect. That is called causal argument. So we don't see something like that. So 4 is not right. Number 3, is this argument from authority? Maybe, may not be. Whether the person who is making this statement, he is a person who is in authority, we don't know. Both possibilities are there. Probably it's a common man who is making this statement. Probably it is a, some kind of a pandit who is making this statement. So whether this statement has been made from somebody in authority or by somebody in authority, we cannot be certain. That is why 3 is not right. Number 2, sorry. Is this predictive argument? Does he make a prediction? No. He makes no kind of prediction. Predictive means prediction. Is he making a prediction? No. He's telling you what generally happens. What will happen, he never says anything of that sort. So number 2 also is not right. Number 1, inductive generalization. By now, I think you understand what is the meaning of inductive and deductive. Anybody who does not know what is inductive and deductive? Okay, you don't know. Okay, what is inductive? Inductive is something like this. See, humans are mortal, right? I'm typing this. Humans are mortal. Rahul is a human. Therefore, what can we conclude? Therefore, Rahul is mortal. Can you see this? I'm typing now. Yes. Okay. If if you look at this, what is happening? Humans are mortal. Rahul is a human. Therefore, Rahul is mortal. So what I'm doing is, first I talk about general humans in general, and then I come to specific things. I talk about Rahul and I make a conclusion about a specific person. So whenever you move from a general thing or general information to specific information, okay, whenever you move from general information to specific information, then your conclusion is 100% valid always. Your conclusion is always 100% valid. This kind of a conclusion is called deductive. It is called deductive generalization. Okay, you must be aware that the word generalization means conclusion, right? The word generalization means conclusion. But then what is the difference between a conclusion and a generalization? Why do we have two words? I'll tell you. I will tell you. Okay. But but first let's understand what is deductive generalization. Deductive generalization is when you move from general to specific and you get absolutely certain conclusion. But if it is the other way around, if I say something like this, I'm just typing, please wait. Okay, now can you see this? Okay, so now let us look at this situation. What is happening? In this situation, I am moving from specific. I'm talking about Rahul. Okay, I move from specific to general. When you move from specific to general information, when you say Rahul is mortal and Rahul is a human, from there you form the conclusion that therefore humans are mortal. So when you move from specific to general, then your conclusion is not necessarily true. Then your generalization is not necessarily true. Okay, there is a 50-50 chance. Such such a generalization, such a conclusion is called inductive. What is inductive? Inductive is when you move from specific information to general information and you form a conclusion. The deductive is the other way around. Deductive is when you move from general information to specific information. Is this clear? Now check. Now check. Has he made any kind of inductive generalization? Does he first talk about a specific person or thing and then he forms a conclusion about everybody? No, he does not. He's talking about man in general. He's not talking about a specific man. As man casts off worn out garments. So he's talking about general. In general, he's talking about man, humans, right? So it is not inductive generalization. It is not inductive generalization. Did you understand? Remember these two expressions, inductive and deductive, because they are used a lot. They are used a lot, especially by XAT. And I think I explained this in parajumbles also. In parajumbles also, we generally, when we arrange the statements, we try to use the deductive pattern. We try to use the deductive pattern. We move from general to specific. So can this be parallelism? Parallelism? No, parallelism is something else. Parallelism is something else. Parallelism is when there is a series or when there is a comparison. Remember, whenever there is a series, you're talking about a series, or whenever you are making a comparison, then they all have to be of the same grammatical form. That is parallelism. Okay. Okay. So now my question to you is, what is the difference between a generalization and a conclusion? Can somebody tell me? What is the difference between a generalization and a conclusion? Conclusion can be specific. Absolutely, Mayank. Remember, every generalization is a conclusion. Every generalization is automatically a conclusion. Okay. The difference between conclusion and generalization is that conclusion can be specific. Conclusion can be specific. Okay. If I say Rohit is not 6 feet tall, that is why Rohit cannot play basketball. So this is my conclusion. Rohit cannot play basketball. I'm talking about a specific person. This is the conclusion. So conclusion can be specific. But what is generalization? Generalization is when I say that, see, listen, there are a lot of problems in the English language. There are a lot of problems in the English language. Some pronunciations are weird, some spellings are weird. And based on this, we can conclude that all languages are imperfect. Now, see what I did. When I say all languages are imperfect, what did I do? I made a generalization. What I did is that on the basis of something, I made a conclusion about all the languages. I'm not talking about a specific language. Okay. So Mayank, you put it up beautifully that yes, conclusions can be specific, generalizations are not specific. That is the difference between a generalization and a conclusion. Otherwise, in layman terms, generalization and conclusion, they are used interchangeably. Is this clear for all of you? Anybody has any issue? Okay. So answer for question number three is going to be five. It is an argument from analogy. And yes, remember, I told you, please read these kind of words carefully. It is causal and not casual. Many people, I believe, must have read it as casual. Question number four. All the parliamentarians whom the reporter interviewed told that they had voted as per their conscience. Therefore, probably all the parliamentarians voted as per their conscience. This argument is an example of what? Number one, okay, Dipali. Number two, predictive. Predictive to हो ही नहीं सकता because predictive is always for the future. This statement is about the past. They voted. They had voted. He's not saying they will vote. So predictive is impossible. Predictive is impossible. Okay. What is this? This is inductive generalization. Okay. This is inductive generalization. Why it is inductive generalization? First, he talks about specific people. Who are the specific people? The people whom the parliamentarians whom the reporter interviewed. These are the specific people. Okay, these are specific parliamentarians. So, based on these specific people, based on what he finds about this specific group, specific people, he makes a conclusion about all the parliamentarians. So, what is he doing? He is moving from specific to general. And that is why his conclusion may or may not be valid. This is an example of inductive generalization. Did you understand? Others you already know. You already know what is deduction generalization when you move from general to specific. Over here, it's the other way around. This is not an argument from analogy. This is not a predictive argument. Whether this generalization is based on authority, we can't say. It's possible, it's not possible. Both possibilities are there. Is this clear? Question number four, answer is one. If you have even an iota of doubt, please ask because these are important expressions. And in that paper, you are very likely to see these expressions again and again and again and again. That does not generally use the word conclusion. It will always use generalization, inductive, deductive, these kind of things it will use. Okay, question number five. Very, very easy question. Yes, Mohit. What is your question? Difference between options three of question three and question four. Question three and question four. Okay. In question three, he's saying arguments from authority. That means this argument has been made by somebody who is in authority, who is in some kind of a position. Okay. This is question number three, option three. Question number four, option three. Question number four, option three, generalization based on authority. That means you have made this conclusion and you have come to this conclusion because of some person who is in authority. It is based on authority. That means you have come to this conclusion You have come to this conclusion because of somebody who is in authority, somebody who is in a power position, who is an authority. He has made this conclusion. He talked to you, he or she, and based on what you talked to this person, you have formed this conclusion. Is this clear? Okay. Let's come to question number five. Question number five, very easy. In this era of global capital flows, so much money is now flowing throughout the world that no single country can fight the problem of inflation effectively by tightening its monetary policy. If the above is true, what can be most logically concluded? What can you conclude? It has to be number three, not two. Number three, we can conclude that countries' finance ministers they have insufficient control over their respective economies because when he says no single country can fight the problem, that means the finance ministers of individual countries they do not have sufficient control. Two is wrong, Mohit. You mark two. Two is wrong. Answer has to be number three. And this was one of the easiest questions. Okay, clear? Okay. So let's come to the next five questions. Next five from question number six to question number 10. 6 to 10, take 10 15 minutes and let me know when you're done. Please start. Okay, let's discuss this. Should we? Okay. Question number six. Question number six, he tells you that many entrepreneurs they try to control the composition of the board of directors, but when you look at more experienced entrepreneurs, they will share control. They share control. Okay, they share control. They invite participation from institutional investors and outside directors. The question is, what is the idea that might be guiding the experienced entrepreneur's behavior? So, what can be the reason that experienced entrepreneurs they share control, they invite participation from institutional investors and outside directors? What do you think is the best reason? Should be one. Yes, it should be one. I think there's absolutely no doubt that experienced entrepreneurs they expect the experienced directors to monitor the performance of the enterprise and to be a sounding board. And to be a sounding board, what is a sounding board? Anybody? What is a sounding board? Sounding board. Sounding board is somebody who you rely on, somebody with whom you can discuss your ideas, your policies, because they are kind of they are experienced people, they are visionaries. So that is sounding board. So yes, number one is good. Number five, okay. Number five, Nikita, you are saying it does not talk about institutional investors. Option number one does not talk about role of institutional investors. No, but please understand, institutional investors, institutional investors will come in the form of directors, isn't it? How will institutional investors participate? They will come in the form of directors. Okay. Number five does not look good. More the number of influential people on board, the easier it is to raise finances. But please understand, if you mark number five, then just because you want to raise finances, will you give your control? Will you share control? You want to raise money. For that, you are ready to share control. No, you will share control only when you believe that the other person will actually help you. Okay, did you understand? Number five is saying more the number of influential people on board, the easier it is to raise finances. But problem is that you first we are assuming that these are influential people. Even if they are influential people, your objective is to raise finances. If you want to raise finances, then why do you need to share control? Why do you invite participation? Why do you want other people to participate? You can raise finances, you take a loan. Take a loan, go to the stock market. There are so many other ways. Why do you need to necessarily share control? So if you are ready to share control, that implies that you want you want participation in the form of decision making. So number five is does not look at a very look like a very valid reason. Okay. Number two, the experienced entrepreneurs expect the institutional investors to support the opinion of entrepreneurs on all major decisions. Now, if the entrepreneur wants his decision to stand, okay, if the entrepreneur wants all his decisions to stand, then why does he want to share control? Don't give the control to anybody. Do whatever you want to do. So number two does not make sense. If the entrepreneurs want their opinions to stand, then why do they want why do they invite participation? What is the point? They can be wholesale, owners of that company. They can take whatever decision they want. So number two also does not look like a valid reason. Arpita, you are saying experienced people will take investors into confidence. Yes, but Arpita over here he's using the word influential and not experienced. He's using the word influential in number five. More the number of influential people. That is also problematic. It should have been experienced people. Okay. So basically, he's trying to say that the more number of powerful people you have on board, then would five be correct? Still, it would not be as good as an answer as one. Please understand. You have an asset. You have control over an asset. Okay, you have control over an asset, and in order to grow that asset, you need some more you need some more funds. Just because you need funds, will you be ready to share your control over that assets with anybody? No, that will be the last thing that you will do. First, first you will take the opinion of people. How exactly, how exactly I can use that asset, and with that asset being in my control, I will talk to them how we can raise finances. So you can raise finances when you without letting go of your control. Okay, so I don't think number five is a very valid reason. Okay, please take a look once more. Should I move to question number seven? Number seven, there is what is remuneration? Remuneration means money, the salary, the money that you get. Okay, okay. Number seven, there is nothing so stupid as an educated man if you can get him off the thing he was educated in. Which of the following is true most seriously undermines the author's contention? So, what is he trying to say? That let us say you are a physics major and you call yourself educated, but if I remove that physics degree, then you will become a stupid man. How can we weaken his contention? Yes, number one, very good. When the moment you prove that, listen, true education is nothing but a well-rounded exposure. It is a well-rounded exposure to many things. So that is true education. So even if you remove one or two things, still because that guy has got well-rounded exposure, he will not become stupid. So yes, number one is a good answer. But if you have any other options, we can check. Dipali, number 4. Stupidity, like intelligence, is relative and therefore depends on the intelligence of the person's peers. So what? So what, number 4? Dipali. So if it is relative, if stupidity, like intelligence, is relative, this this statement is from the perspective of somebody called X. So X still is a relative है X. According to X, there is nothing so stupid as an educated man if you can get him off the thing he was educated in. So even if it's relative, you are not undermining it. In fact, you are strengthening it. Okay, Dipali, did you understand? Please understand this statement is made by somebody. According to him, there is nothing so stupid as an educated man if you can get him off the thing he was educated in. So this statement is as it is relative. Okay. Now, will you explain all of the options? Okay. Let us see. Number 2. An educated man will not discuss things which he does not understand. So how does this undermine the author's contention? An educated person may not discuss. He may not discuss, but if you remove the subject that he has specialized in, will he become stupid? Nothing happens. Number 2 does not state that just because he does not discuss. In fact, if he does not discuss, that can be a very strong argument to say that he has become stupid. That is why he is not discussing. So number 2 is gone. Number 3, the cost of a general education has led to the unfortunate fact that a person's education is confined to one field. You are strengthening what he's saying. You're not undermining. If your education is confined to one field and I remove that field, then obviously you will become stupid. So number 3 also is strengthening what he's saying, not undermining. Number 4, I told you, number 4 has no impact because as it is, this statement is relative. Number 5, education is one of the main causes of people recognizing their capabilities and developing them further. But problem is that if I remove that education, then you will not recognize your capabilities and you will not be able to develop them further, isn't it? Now, what you have to prove in order to attack his argument, you will have to prove that listen, even if you remove that education, still that guy is not going to be stupid because if in a true sense that guy is educated, then he will have a well-rounded exposure to many things, to all the major subjects. So if you remove one or two things, that will not make that person stupid, and that is why number 1 should be the answer. Arpita, I explained number 1. Okay. Anybody has any doubt? Should I move to question number 8? Okay, question number 8. Very easy question. Ram, an economist, and Ramesh, an astrologer, had a debate. Ram said astrology does not work, it just cannot predict. It can predict better than your subject, rebutted Ramesh. So, the evidence that will best resolve the above debate. How to find out whether astrology makes better predictions or economics makes better predictions? How can you find out? Okay, number 5, 4. Arpita, you have marked number 2. See, number of predictions. Number of predictions can never be the basis. It can never be the basis. It always has to be the percentage of predictions that come true. Answer for this question is 5. Answer for this question is 5. Number of predictions तो कभी हो ही नहीं सकता. Let us say this is astrologer and this is an economist. Okay. This astrologer has made 20 predictions and this economist has made 150 predictions. Out of these 20 predictions for the astrologer, 18 have been proved correct. And for this economist, out of 150, 25 have been proved correct. 25 are correct. So when you look at the number, it seems that the economist is better. The predictions made by the economist is better because astrologer made 18 predictions right and economist made 25 predictions right. So when you focus only on the number of predictions, then your conclusion will be misleading. Now, now compare the percentage of predictions that come true. Out of 20, 18 are correct. That means almost 85%. Whereas when you look at the economists, out of 150, 25, only 25. That is not even 30%. Yes or no? Around 30%. So always you will get a conclusive answer only when you compare the percentage of predictions that have come true. And that is why number 5 is correct and not 4 and 2. Mohit and Arpita. Did you understand? Okay. So remember these questions also because many times I mean wordings can change, but pattern will be same. Pattern will be same. So whenever you have to make a comparison. Never use numbers. Always use percentage. Okay. Remember this. Remember this structure. Okay. Question number 8 is done. Answer is 5. Let's come to question number 9. According to recent reports, CEOs of large organizations are paid more than CEOs of small organizations. It is not fair. Just because the CEO is leading a big organization, that he should be paid more. CEO's salary should be based on performance and especially growth in terms of scale and sales and profits. Yeah, of course, big organizations are more complex than the small, but all CEOs require significant amount of energy and time in managing organizations. There is no proof that CEOs of big organizations are more stressed than CEOs of small organizations. All CEOs should be paid according to their performance. This is what he's saying. If you want to refute the argument, if you want to say that no, the salaries of CEOs of big companies should be more than the salaries of CEOs of small companies. If you want to refute the argument, what will you say? Number 5. Number 5 too. Highly qualified CEOs should be paid more because they have acquired difficult education. So this highly qualified CEO can be the CEO of a small organization also. He's making a comparison between small organizations and big organizations. CEOs of small organizations they are paid less than the CEOs of big organizations, and he believes that the position CEO, whether you are a CEO of a small or a big organization, that is immaterial. If you are a CEO, you should be paid equal. Now I have to refute his argument. I have to prove him wrong. So I will have to say that no, CEOs of big organizations and small organizations should not get equal payments. Answer for this question is 2. It should be 2, not 4. It should not be 4. Please understand. I just come to number 4. Answer is 2. The moment I say managing big organizations is more challenging than small organizations, that is the reason why CEOs of big organizations should get more pay because it's more challenging. They do a more challenging job than the CEOs of the small organizations. How can the pay be equal? Okay. What do we have to prove wrong? He wants equal pay for all CEOs. Yes, so he's accepting Mayank. He's accepting, but still he's saying all CEOs should be paid according to their performance. All CEOs should get equal pay. It's not fair. It's not fair that they are not getting paid the same amount. So even if he's accepting it, उसी के आर्गुमेंट को हम रिफ्यूट कर सकते हैं ना. We can use his words to refute his arguments. Okay. Number five will not work. Please, let us look at all the options. Number five will not work. You are saying that highly qualified CEOs should be paid more. Now, this highly qualified CEOs can be the CEO of a small organization also. So, if you are saying it should be paid more, and if this CEO is the CEO of a small organization, then rather than refuting, you are supporting his argument. Aren't you? So, number five is wrong. Number four, if CEOs of small companies perform well, the company would become big, and so would be the CEO's salary. So as of now, the salaries of the CEOs of small companies are not equivalent to the salaries of CEOs of big companies, isn't it? So that is what he's saying. ये तो वो बोल रहा है. You are proving him right, isn't it? ये तो बोल रहा है वो. That is what he's saying. That if you are a CEO of a small company, then you don't get a salary which is as good as the salary that the CEO of a big organization gets. Yes, that is another matter that if you work, then you can make your company into a big company and then you can get a big salary. But as of now, you are a CEO of a small company, you're not getting the same compensation that the CEO of a big company is getting. And this is what he's saying. So you are not refuting, you are strengthening, corroborating what he's saying. You are strengthening his arguments. Okay? Did you understand why 4 is wrong? Not completely, okay, not completely. I will again explain this to you. Dipali, you did not understand the question. What is he trying to prove in this passage? He is trying to prove that all CEOs, it is unfair that CEOs of big organizations, they get more salary. They get more payment. All CEOs should get equal pay. If they perform equally, they should get equal pay, isn't it? All CEOs should be paid according to their performance. So अगर performance whether you are a CEO of a small company or whether you are CEO of a big company, if your performance is good, then pay भी equal होना चाहिए. That is what he's saying. Agreed? Yes. Now you have to refute the argument. Now you have to refute the argument. You have to say that no, all CEOs should not be paid the same amount. Yes or no? Mayank, in 4, pay is never becoming equal. If CEOs of small companies perform well, the company would become big and so would be CEO's salary. Yes, but this is what the argument is saying. This is what the author is saying, isn't it? So I am, I am a small company. I am a CEO of a small company. So right now my salary is let's say 1,000 rupees. I will perform well. I will perform well, and now the company will become big. So my salary will also increase. My salary will increase. My salary will become 10,000. So when I was small, my salary was small. When I became big, my salary was big. This is what the passage is saying. That is what, man, you are refuting your own argument. आप खुद अपने argument को refute कर रहे हो. In fact, this is what he's saying. यही तो वो prove करना चाहता है. That when you are the CEO of a small company, you are performing well, but that time your salary was 1,000. If you want good salary, then you will have to raise your performance and you'll have to convert your company into a big company. जैसे big company बनेगी तो आपकी salary भी बढ़ जाएगी ना. But he is trying to say Please understand, he is trying to say that whether you are a small company or whether you are a big company, your salary should be equal. If you are a good performer, if you are a good performer, then whether you are the CEO of a small company or whether you are the CEO of a large company, that is immaterial. You should get the same money, same remuneration. So number four is supporting what he's saying, not refuting. This is exactly what he's saying. Please understand this. Did you get this? Still not comfortable? Am I audible to you? Because there's no response from your side. Yes. Okay. Let us look at it in some other way. There are two CEOs. चलो इसको मैं दूसरे तरह से समझाता हूँ. There are two CEOs. Okay. CEO number X, CEO number X, and CEO number Y. His performance is 100%. Presently, his performance also is 100%. Okay. His performance is also 100%. This guy is a CEO of a small company, and this guy is a CEO of a big company. Okay. Now, because it's a small company, even though this guy's performance is 100%, his salary is 1,000, and his salary, this guy Y's salary is 10,000. Now, please tell me what is happening. What is happening? This is what he's saying. This is what the passage is saying. That you are performing 100%, but still you are not getting the salary of 10,000. You are getting a salary of 1,000. So with the same performance, your performance remains constant. Your performance is same. Both X and Y are performing at the same level. But because X is the CEO of a small company, he is not getting pay which is equal to the pay received by CEO number Y, who is the CEO of a big company. अभी समझ में आया? Did you understand? Okay. Did you understand this? Now please understand, Mayank, that if the CEO of the small company, if he wants a salary of 10,000, then he will have to convert his company into a big company. If he does not convert the company into a big company, he's not getting a salary of 10,000. He will remain at 1,000. This is exactly what the passage is saying. This is exactly what the passage is saying. So even if he's giving 100% performance, if he's not able to convert the company into a big company, he will not get that 10,000 rupees salary. यही तो मैसेज बोल रहा है ना. This is what you have to refute. Is this clear? Yes or no? Think. If you need 2 minutes, think. If you need 2 minutes, please think. So now, because don't we have to refute the last line of the passage? Yes, Mayank. All CEOs should be paid according to the performance. So इसका मतलब performance X and Y 100% है, Mayank. So both should get 10,000 each. Yes or no, Mayank? Both should get 10,000 each. But you have to refute this argument. You have to say that no, X should not get 10,000. X should get 1,000 and Y should get 10,000. How will you refute it? You will refute it by saying that listen, Y is the CEO of a big organization and his task is more challenging than the task of X, who is the CEO of a small organization. So that makes number two correct. Now is it all right? Now it's clear for all of you. All should be paid according to companies and not the performance is what we have to prove. Yes, yes, Mohit. In a sense, yes, that is what you have to prove. Okay. I think there was one more question based on this same passage. Which of the following is true would strengthen the speaker's argument? How will you strengthen the speaker's argument? The speaker's argument is that everybody should get equal pay. Whether you are a CEO of a small organization or a big organization, you should get the same pay. How will you strengthen it? What do you think? Answer for this question should be one. Yes, one. When you say that the CEOs of small organizations, they come from good educational background, this is a reason. This is a reason why they should get good pay or why they should get equal pay. There may be other reasons also. There may be other reasons also. This is one of the reasons. So when I want to strengthen something, I will give multiple reasons, right? I will give multiple reasons. One of the reasons is that listen, the CEOs of small organizations they are from a good educational background, so they deserve good pay. They deserve a pay equivalent to that of a large company. So this is one of the reasons. There can be other reasons also. So it's only number one that is strengthening the speaker's argument. No other option will strengthen the argument. Is this clear? Please take a look. If you have any doubt, please ask. Okay. If everything is clear, then let's come to the last five questions for today. Question number 11 to question number 15. Take 10 to 12 minutes. It is 11:30. 10 12 minutes, I think, will be sufficient. Maximum time is 11:45. If you are able to complete it before that, let me know. Please start. Okay, it seems most of you have completed. So, should we check, discuss now? Let's start with question number 11. Question number 11, he says, some words are highly inflammable. Okay. Then he gives you an example. He says fusion is one of them. I mean, you can get two sets of people into war mode by just uttering the words fusion music. One set will breathe fire and say it violates the purity of music, whereas the other set will tell you that fusion music opens up the borders of music. Based on this passage, he's asking you question number 11. The statement, some words are highly inflammable. What is this? Is this the essence of the passage? Is this a linguistic embellishment? Is it an irrelevant exaggeration? Is it an unsubstantiated dogmatic assertion? Or is it a contradictory statement? Number five to possibly nahi hai. It is not a contradictory statement because he has given you examples. He is not contradicting it. So number five is wrong. Is it an unsubstantiated dogmatic assertion? What is dogmatic? Dogmatic means a belief that you hold very strongly, but that is kind of unreasonable. Dogmatic. If you are dogmatic, then you hold a belief. You have certain dogmas, you have certain beliefs, and these beliefs are generally about religion or morality, these kind of beliefs, or about your country. These kind of beliefs that you hold very, very strongly, and sometimes these beliefs may not be very reasonable. They may not be very, very reasonable. Okay, so we say you are being dogmatic. You are being dogmatic means you are being very rigid. You are not ready to change. For example, now the world is changing. Supreme Court also has said that homosexuality should not be treated as a crime. And now, if in today's day and today's world you still hold the belief that no, it should be a crime. I mean, you are not ready to give. You are not ready to change your belief. Then I think that is going to be dogmatic. You are being dogmatic. So kind of stereotype means it's a pattern. Priyanka, stereotype का मतलब है pattern. Okay, it is a pattern. So yes, when you are dogmatic, you behave in a patterned way. You are not ready to change. You hold certain beliefs, and these beliefs are very strong, and these are unsubstantiated. Indian society is not as dogmatic as we think it is. We have changed. We have changed. We have stopped sati. We have stopped child marriages, and we are trying to stop so many other evils. So there is changes everywhere. There are changes everywhere. Triple talaq and homosexuality and widow remarriage, sati practice. We have changed a lot, even though the change is slow. So dogmatic would mean that your belief is very strong, you're not ready to change, and it's unreasonable. It's kind of unsubstantiated. That is number four. Number three says some words are highly inflammable. This is an irrelevant exaggeration used in the passage. Question is, if it is irrelevant exaggeration, then how will you start the passage? Will you start the passage from this word? Fusion is one of them. No, fusion is one of what? You need to know, because some words are highly inflammable. After that, everything that you see is an example. What does this tell you? This tells you that the first few lines, the first line, these words, some words are highly inflammable. This is the essence of the passage. This is what he wants to prove. And to prove it, he has given you an example of a word fusion. Is it a linguistic embellishment? Linguistic embellishment means is it decorative language that he has used? If it is decorative language, then it is not essential. Decorative language means it is not essential. You can do away with it. So, no, it is not a linguistic embellishment. It is the essence of the passage. This is what he wants to prove. Answer should be one. Did you understand? Embellishment means decoration. Is it linguistic decoration? Is he using flowery language? Is he making his language florid? Embellishment, मयंक, मैं ऐसा बोलूंगा कि आप जिंदगी में ढूंढते रह जाओगे उसका मीनिंग. Your Gluteus max is uncanny. Okay, this is linguistic embellishment. अब हाँ अब ढूंढते रहो. your your Gluteus max is uncanny. Or or I am what I am because I am what I'm not. I am what I'm not because I am what I am. It is from the am notness that I come, and it is from the am, and it is to the am notness that I will go. This is linguistic embellishment. Okay, so there can be so many examples. सीधी तरह से बात नहीं बोल रहे हो आप. You are talking about it in a very convoluted way. Okay, so that is linguistic embellishment. So let's come to the second question based on the same passage. Question number 12. You have to read the question very carefully, because if the question नहीं पढ़ा ना carefully, then you will mark number one as the answer. I know many of you have marked number one as the answer. From the purest perspective, it is only from one perspective, okay? Not from both the perspectives. From the purest perspective, the war between the two sets of people is what? From the purest perspective, yes, it is an attempt to preserve the core principles. He, the purist believe that fusion music violates the purity of music. So he does not want to violate the purity of music. He wants to preserve the core principles. If you have not read this question carefully, then you will believe that this war is an ideological conflict between two ideas. One is based on purity and the one is based on openness. But no, it is not from both the angles. It is from just the purist perspective. That is why answer for question number 12 is 3. Did you understand? Anybody has any doubt? Okay. How 3? अभी तो बताया ना प्रियंका, that is what I said. From the purist angle, a person who believes in purity, from the angle of that person. So this war, what does this war mean to him? What does this war mean to him? What does he want to do? The purist does not want to violate the purity of music. He wants to keep the purity of music intact. So he wants to preserve the core principles. He wants to preserve the core principles. Okay? It is only from the purist perspective, not both the perspectives. Remember that. Okay, I'll come to question number 13 if it is clear. Number 13. Very nice question. 13, 14, 15. When we speak of probability of death, the exact meaning of the experience can be defined in the following way only. So the only way in which you can define probability is what? You must not think of an individual, but of a certain class as a whole. Okay. A probability of death is attached to the class of men or another class that can be defined in a similar way. We can say nothing about the probability of death of an individual, even if we know his condition of life and health in detail. That is why the phrase probability of death, when it refers to a single person, has no meaning at all. It will always be about a class. You have to understand this very carefully. Okay? Based on this, which of the conclusions can be drawn? Which conclusions can be drawn? Number one, singular, non replicable events can be assigned numerical probability value. Can you assign probability value to singular events? A single person called Mr. X dies. He died at the age of 46. Based on that, can you calculate the probability of death for people who are in the age group of 46? No, you cannot. You cannot. You require data about the entire class as a whole. So, singular, non replicable events cannot be assigned numerical probability value. One is wrong. Number two, probability calculation requires data of the class of people or of events. Yes, yes. Number two is right. Now, number three says the data about a class of events can be used to predict the future of any specific event. So, you know that people who are in the age group of 45, they have an 80% possibility of not dying, of living. Okay, people who are in the age group of 45, they have an 80% probability of living, 20% probability of death is there. Based on this, can you say that Mr. X, who is 45 years old, he will die or he will live this year? Can you say? Can you predict the future of any specific event? No, you cannot. So, what does this tell you? Only number two is right. Answer for this question is 2. अभी समझ आया? Arpita, you mark 4. Did you understand? People who mark 4, Priyanka, Dipali, all of you mark 4. Okay. Please explain 3 again. Okay. You know about the probability. You have data about the class. Okay, Arpita? So you know that people who are in the age group of 45, there is an 80% probability that they will live and they will turn 46. There is a 20% probability that people in the age group of 45, they can die and they will not turn 46. So you have this data. This data is about the entire group of people who are in the age group of 45. So based on this, you know of a man called Mr. X. Mr. X is 45 years old. Based on this information, can you say that Mr. X will die this year or Mr. X will not die this year? Can you make a prediction? No, you can't. You can't. You can't make a prediction about any specific event. Okay, you can make a prediction about the class as a whole. You can say that people who are in the age group of 45, 80% of those people will turn 46. Around 86%, 80% of the people will see their 46th birthdays. 20% people will not survive this year. That is what you can say. But which particular individual will die and which particular individual will live, that is something which you cannot say. And that is why number three is not right. Okay? Excuse me. Should I move to 14? Number 14. Same passage. Which of the following statements would the author disagree to the most? What will the author disagree? The author will disagree that you can talk about specific events. You can talk about specific. The more specific it is, the more he will disagree. So think which is the most specific, which is the most specific prediction that you are going to make. It is number one. It is number one. So what he's saying is that a boxing match is going to be held between two boxers, Joe and Mark. And you can analyze this match and you can predict an outcome. तभी तो Priyanka, he will disagree. The author will disagree. Author will disagree that specific event के बारे में बता सकते हो आप. So which is the most specific event? Think, Priyanka, think. Okay. So there's a boxing match between two boxers, Joe and Mark, and you can analyze this match and you can assign the outcome a numerical value. You can calculate the probability if you know about the boxer's current fitness levels and their strengths. If the assignment of the current fitness levels and the strengths is done by experts. So that means if you know about two specific people about health conditions of Joe and Mark, then you can predict the outcome of the match. You can't. You can't. He tells you. He tells you you can say nothing about the probability of death of an individual, even if you know his condition of life and health in detail. So he will disagree the most that if you know about the fitness levels of Joe and Mark, then you can make a prediction. That is why number one is the answer. Did you understand? Is this clear for everyone? Please understand. When you look at options 2, 3, 4, and 5, in number one, you are getting two specific information. One, health information about Joe. Two, health information about Mark. 2, 3, 4, and 5 give you more and more information. Number two tells you when you analyze the fights between the two boxers belonging to the two clubs. Now these boxers may have fought hundred times. So if they have fought 100 times, that means you will get 100 pieces of information. So that is better. That is better. The more the information you have, that is better. Similarly, when you analyze the outcome of fights between the two boxers at different venues, probably they have had again 100 fights, at different venues. So again, you will get information from 100 fights. In number one, you are getting only two sets of information. In number two, you can be getting you can get hundreds or 200. Number three also 100 or 200. Number four and number five also you can get lot of information. The more the information you have, the better you can calculate probability. That is what the passage says. The more diverse information or more information about the class as a whole you have, the better is the calculation of probability. The more specific it becomes, the least possibility you have of assigning a numerical value. So that is why 2, 3, 4, and 5 cannot be the answer, because 2, 3, 4, and 5 will give you more and more information. Did you understand? And finally, the same passage he tells you what will the author agree to the most. The outcome of the match held between the boxers Joe and Mark can be analyzed and you can calculate the probability is. Now check. Now check which option gives you the most information. किससे सबसे ज्यादा डेटा मिलेगा? सबसे ज्यादा डेटा किससे मिलेगा? Number two. Number two, when you analyze the outcome of fights between boxers belonging to two clubs. So there can be n number of boxers. There can be n number of boxers, not between the boxers belonging to the two clubs. So there can be hundreds of boxers of these two clubs. So you will get more and more varied information. More the varied of information about the entire class, the better is the calculation of probability, and that is why number two is the answer. Number three, Dipali, yes, you will get lot of information, but again, this information will be restricted to just the two boxes. So when you calculate probability, remember 3, 4, and 5 will give information about the two boxers. बहुत सारे information मिलेगा. You will get lot of information, but this information will be about only the two boxers. In number two, you will get lot of information about many boxers. So which one is better for probability calculation? Information about two boxers or information about many boxers? Dipali, yes, this match is happening between two boxers. But if you want to calculate the probability, what is going to be the result of this match? Then what is going to give you the most information? How will you be able to calculate the probability? When you analyze the fights between boxers belonging to the two clubs. So बहुत सारे fights को among lots of boxers, when you analyze them, then you will be able to make a probability calculation. Because for probability calculation, you require information about the entire class and not just two people. Did you understand? Is this clear for all of you? Please check all the questions from 1 to 15. If there is any doubt, anything you did not understand, please ask. And how would you rate the questions that you saw today? What do you think? They are doable? Confusing. Okay, they are confusing. 2 or 3 of them may be confusing, but otherwise, I think they were doable. They were doable. Keep a track of your score. Keep a track of your score and revisit these questions again, so that right now you probably are saturated, but when you revisit these questions again, then you will probably understand what I'm trying to say. If things are not more, if there is something that is not absolutely clear. Okay. So that's it from my side for today. If you have any doubt, please ask. Otherwise, if you would like to log off, have a very good Sunday. Take care. Goodbye. Take care.
Music